with the addition of Jimmy Butler, how dangerous is this Warriors team in the West?
No more dangerous than they were yesterday. Let's call
You're
it what
not
it is.
moved.
I'm not moved at all. Listen, and that's no knock against Jimmy Butler, but what we're not going to do today is call this a mega deal. It is not a mega deal. The fact of the matter is, if Jimmy Butler had ended up in Phoenix with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, that would have been a mega deal. But him being in Golden State, you got to understand something. We're accustomed to seeing Steph Curry with Klay Thompson. Jimmy Butler's not a Klay Thompson caliber player, not a type of player, rather.
There are two things every NBA fan should know. Do not doubt Stephen Curry, and do not doubt Jimmy Butler. So when both of those guys team up in a trade that only cost the Warriors one first-round pick, and with all due respect, Andrew Wiggins, you do not go on national TV and then suggest that the Warriors won't be any better, because you will look like a fool, and the more and more we see of Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler and this new look Golden State Warriors, the better and better this team looks. Because we've now seen 10 games with Jimmy Butler as a Warrior, and the Dubs have won 9 of those 10 games. They are now sitting 6th in the Western Conference with a legitimate chance at jumping higher than that. And the most recent game against the New York Knicks might have been the Warriors' best win of the entire season. Because after struggling in the first half of the game, it was Steph Curry and it was Jimmy Butler who were the catalysts for the win. And for the first time in a few years, this felt like a team with a switch. This felt like a team who were able to lock in and then win the game against an elite team as a result of just saying, let's win this game. Which is what happens when you have one of the best players in the NBA surrounded by an all-star, an all-defensive player, and some young emerging players like Moses Moody and Brandon Podziemski, who continue to improve on both ends of the floor. But it was the Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry show. In particular, the Steph Curry show, who has looked like a different player since the trade of Jimmy Butler, because it is clear to see that with the addition of Jimmy, there has been a weight lifted off the shoulders of Steph Curry, and that right there should scare the NBA. In fact, we already know it is terrifying the rest of the NBA, because in the 10 games with Jimmy in the lineup, Steph is averaging 29.5 points per game, 6 assists, 4 rebounds, and shooting 50% from the field, 43% from 3, and nearly 90% from the line. And oh, the Warriors are plus 133 in those minutes. But I don't even want to talk about Steph's scoring in this game, even though he made some absolutely ridiculous shots as always.
With Steph fading, firing, and hitting. Looking for Steph coming around. Very tough three. Not for him! Curry buries a three!
There is one thing I really want to mention in this video that I haven't seen enough people mention, and it is the playmaking of Steph Curry. Yes, we can talk about the shooting, we can talk about the scoring and the off-ball movement and everything about that, but his passing ability is something that, in my opinion, has always been underrated, and right now, he's passing as well as I have ever seen him pass. I mean, look at this play he made from late in the game against the Knicks, or from earlier in the game against the Knicks, putting the handle on against Bridges, crossing him over, and then with McBride coming to help, Steph spots Gee and drops a dime to him. Or how about this play against Charlotte, where he's ISOing against Josh Green. He crosses him up, and every single Hornets defender collapses on him, allowing Steph to get 2 feet in the paint and swing it to post for 3. And this has been a theme over the last 3 games, because after Steph's 56-point game against Orlando, well, teams made a decision that they didn't want him taking that many shots. So instead, he's averaged 11 assists over his last 3 games. And that's not even mentioning the gravity, the 4-on-3 situations he creates, and just the sheer fear he puts into opposition teams. And this is also a result of how much quicker and more comfortable he looks handling the ball. And it wasn't just Steph Curry putting on a passing clinic in the game against New York, because we are already seeing that Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green are a perfect combination, with Jimmy's ability to cut to the rim and Dre's ability to find him. It was this combination that allowed the Dubs to stay in the game whilst Steph was on the bench to start the fourth quarter, with Dre finding Jimmy on numerous occasions leading to free throws. Or a play like this, where Dre gets the ball just inside the arc. Again, Jimmy is involved, this time just getting his body in the way of McBride, and with Buddy cutting backdoor, it's a perfect pass to Buddy for two. Oh, and if you want to see what Steph does outside the box score, look at him here give the ball up to Dre. Both defenders stay attached to him, so he drops a perfect dime backdoor to Gee for the dunk. It just feels like whenever the ball is in the hands of Draymond Green, Jimmy Butler, or Steph Curry, you know something good is going to happen. You know Jimmy or Steph are going to make the right cuts for Draymond at the right time. You know Dre is going to set the right screen for Jimmy or Steph at the right time. The chemistry, the intangibles, the experience. I mean, what do you expect from three of the greatest players of the modern era? Three of the best competitors and three of the best winners. It's not rocket science, but watching it happen and watching it happen against an elite team, well, it is special to watch. And what I love about the last 20 games of this season is every game feels like a playoff game. And who would you rather have for a playoff-like stretch than Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, and Stephen Curry? There is absolutely no one else. And it goes beyond just the on-court performance when it comes to Jimmy's impact. Jimmy is an over-communicator. Jimmy is going to come to you before something even happens. And I'll be honest with you, I get how people could get tired of Jimmy. If you're not a basketball head, if you don't love this game, losers will get frustrated with that. Well, luckily, the Warriors are a team that have a history of winning, and Draymond has a history of winning, and he is being revitalized playing alongside Jimmy Butler. Just like Steph, he's had that extra motivation, that extra energy, that extra boost. And let's not forget, these are guys who have been in the league for years. 82 games a season for over a decade is tiring physically and mentally, so to have someone come in like Jimmy can just add a completely different element, not just from a skill perspective, but from a mental perspective as well, giving you the belief every single night that you can and will win, which is exactly what Draymond said about his belief in this team winning a championship. That belief is looking a little less crazy every single game. And that's the established guys. Can you imagine the confidence and boost Jimmy Butler is bringing to the younger guys? And in particular, two young guys in the starting lineup in Brandon Podziemski and Moses Moody, two guys who have now established themselves as starters. And the reason Jimmy is so valuable for these guys, particularly when Steph isn't on the floor, is just that extra attention. It's that extra help required that allows a guy like Pods or Moses Moody to then put the ball on the floor and get to a spot where it's a higher percentage shot. And as a result, this team has gone from struggling to a legitimate championship contender. I don't think that's crazy to say anymore. You know what is crazy to say though? I made a video on the official Golden State Warriors channel talking about Draymond Green and the impact he has had on this team, not just this year, but over his career in Golden State. And if you enjoy any of the content I make, I would really appreciate you checking that out, dropping a like, showing some love. That would be greatly appreciated. I mean, the support is greatly appreciated regardless. I hope you have a great day. Bye.